the Saturday Morning Scramble live right here on the Fan Upstate. So good to be with you on this Saturday morning. I'm Cole Bryson, Alex Guest to my right, getting the stream up and rolling as well. And I don't know, Alex, did you screw the internet this morning before we got here? The stream is not liking the internet connection too good.
Stream's not liking the internet.
What'd you do to it?
I'm just gonna have to get on my phone hotspot here.
No, you know what we'll do? We'll go to the old reliable here. I'm with you. I think works
see,
better.
Now I'm on the hotspot Wi-Fi. So let's see.
Let's see. All right, the stream. We think we're working. We think we're good. You can watch the show live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Now we should be good there. And we are off. So good to be with you all this morning. And it's always good to talk a little high school football on a Saturday morning. A big night last night, Alex, for a lot of teams. And it was a fun night as well. A big show coming your way, though. We, Alex Guest and myself, are in Ingalls Markets this morning. It's 2375 Chesney Highway in Spartanburg, South Carolina. A beautiful Ingalls location. I believe, Alex, the first time we have ever been here.
Sure.
You don't believe me on that?
I really don't know.
We were debating this earlier, and you said no, that's not true.
I was thinking that we had been here before.
I think it's our first time.
Well,
I don't know. We'll settle.
You know what? I put it in my calendar every week, so
we'll settle the debate.
It's our first time here this season.
Nonetheless, it is. That's true. Nonetheless, we're in Chesney. If you are as well, want to drop by, have some breakfast, have some coffee, talk a little high school football. We'd love to see you on this Saturday morning. You need some coffee?
Yeah.
Where's your coffee?
It's down here on the floor, but
Well, it's not going to do you any good on the floor, buddy. It's not going to do you good down there. A big show coming your way as we'll be joined live by some Chesney Eagles at 9 o'clock this morning on the show, talking a little Chesney football. Since we are in Chesney, it makes sense to talk to the players.
We were in Chesney November 16th last year.
I don't think so.
I think we were.
Was I here, though? Was I out that
day? You may not have been. I don't know.
I don't think we did a show on November 16th a year ago. You say we were here?
It was the first round of the playoffs.
No. Yeah. No way. Well,
folks at home don't care.
I am wrong once or twice. I am wrong.
No, you're
once or twice. Once or twice an hour. So we'll have the Chesney Eagles come out and join us in person at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
We'll also talk to Lynn Fleming at 8:30. Lynn Fleming and the Broome Centurions, maybe nobody bigger last night, getting a win.
How about that? Yeah.
Over Powdersville, huge win. We'll have some scores from last night in just a second. We'll talk to Trey Stewart of the Greer Sports coming up at 8:42.
He was at a good game.
Very good game last night. Spartanburg Eastside, a game, Alex, in which Spartanburg trailed for the majority of that game, I believe, through 3 quarters or so. So we'll talk to Trey of the Greer Sports coming up, like I said, around 8:42. Donnie Littlejohn, the head football coach of the Gaffney Eagles, after his first region win ever at 9:22. So a big show. Lynn Fleming, Trey Stewart, some Chesney Eagles live in person. We'll have them on headset. Also, a couple of coaches from Chesney. We'll tell you who they are when they get here and introduce you to them. But a loaded show coming your way, Alex Guest. And what everybody's dying to hear, what happened last night? If you just woke up, you didn't really stay in tune with the scores from last night, this is by far the most popular segment of the show. It is Alex Guest with the scores from last night. I really tried to make that sound big, and
I think it's the most popular segment of the show because people want to hear how much I'm going to mess up.
I don't think that's true. I don't think
how many times I get tongue-tied here.
Well, every now and then
when you've got 29 scores to,
is that what we had last night?
Which really games? It's 29 games, which really, I guess you do 29 times 2, that's 58. So that's 58 individual teams.
I believe in.
All right.
I believe in some really good games last night. And by the way, we'll get to our picks and what we did in just a few minutes in terms of how we did last night. Why are you sounding so down about that? We will. Okay. We will do it. We'll do it. But scores from last night. Week 4 is in the books. And here we go, Alex Guest.
Here we go. Well, J.L. Mann gets Bryce Smiley his first win as a head coach last night, a 1-point victory over Easley, 14-13. Evan from promotions is giving me a look because he was trying to take a picture and I was um, wiping my eyes. But J. Man, a 14-13 win over Easley last night. It's Greenville 28-18 winners over Woodmont. TL Hanna a 1-point win over Greenwood 22-21. It's Hillcrest getting a 29-7 win over Malden. Gaffney bounces back after a bye week last week and gets the win over Boiling Springs 34-7. Burns 45-3 winners over Wade Hampton. You heard that game right here on the Fan Upstate last night. It's Dorman a 31-3 winner over Riverside. Spartanburg got a 48-34 win over Eastside last night, a game that we'll hear more about from Trey Stewart later on today. It is Strom Thurmond getting a 35-13 win over Emerald. Fountain Inn 49-7 winners over St. Joe's. Carolina and Southside in the most barn burner of games last night. Carolina a 6-0 win over Southside.
Track meet sounds like, right?
Yeah, track meet. Prince Avenue out of Georgia, a 59-34 winner over Westside. It is Greer 56-0 over Berea. Really talk about barn burner track meets. Blue Ridge and Pickens.
Wow.
50-42 Blue Ridge.
A lot of points.
The win
overhit on that one.
Over Pickens. Yeah. Hope you hammered the over.
No, I don't know what it was, but I think it hit.
50-42 over Pickens. Daniel got a big win over Clinton last night, 41-33. It's Seneca over Travelers Rest, 42-10. Belton Honeypath, a 49-0 win over Palmetto. Crescent and 96, 59-21. Crescent, the winner in that ball game. Liberty hangs a 70 burger on Walhalla, 70-42. I think Liberty scored 70 in like 7 games this season.
They're pretty potent.
There's
on
not
offense.
even been 7
pretty
games.
Impressive.
West Oak 36-16 winners over Landrum. It's Christchurch getting a big 48-20 win over Chapman. Broome and Powdersville talk about another barn burner, 53-46. Broome, the winner over Powdersville. Southside Christian blank salute at 28-0. Mountain View Prep 41-19 winners over American Leadership. Chester 55-36 winners over Union County. It's Woodruff over Chesney 52-17. Central out of Pageland gets a 40-6 win over Blacksburg. And our Skeeza friends, our local Skeeza friends, Greenwood Christian defeated Orangeburg Prep 34-21, and Spartanburg Christian fell on the road at Northside Christian 32-14.
By the way, I love your focus there because we had Chris, who loves the show, listens to the Fan Upstate. He says all the time, every day.
Yeah.
Chris came up and was introducing himself to me, and I would have been very distracted if I were you. So you kept your focus there. I was impressed. You didn't start talking to Chris during the middle of the scores.
Well, Evan got mad at me because I think he was trying to take a picture, but I had a itch in my eye, so I started taking a scratch of the eye there.
It's a good pictures, I'm sure. But shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris. Thanks for stopping by.
He's in the Ingalls markets we're at over here in Chesney, shopping this morning, getting some shopping done on this Saturday morning. He said that him and his family moved to Japan a couple of years ago. I don't know what military or what, but he said even while they were in Japan, he said he always listened on the podcast. So appreciate Chris and good to see him this morning. If you were at a high school football game last night, want to talk about it, drop by and say hello. We are at Ingalls this morning. Alex Guest, am I right? I'm Cole Bryson. 2375 is the store address. Chesney Highway in Chesney, South Carolina. A beautiful, beautiful store. Always want to say thanks to Ingalls Markets as well as Founders Federal Credit Union. So if you were at a game last night, you can call the show or text the show as well at 844-326-3663. The Hub City Spartan Burgers text line is open that way. Again, that's 844-FANFONE. Those were the scores from last night. We'll get back to those scores, Alex, a little bit later on in the show. But how we do last night? You and I, every single week, we pick the games. The entire slate. A week ago, you and I did really good. We both went 18-3. One of the better weeks I think I've ever had in terms of picking. Last night, where we went right, where we went wrong, you went last night?
I was 20-7 last night.
Not bad.
No,
not bad. I was 21-6, just by the hair on my chinny. I mean, just barely.
You don't have any hair on your chin.
Well, you know the old saying there. One game One game is all. I mean, and now we're only separated on the season total by two.
By 2 games.
Two
yeah.
games.
2 games.
You went 20-7 last night. I went 21-6. On the season, I'm now 97-35. You're 95-37. Just swap a few numbers there.
Yeah.
Around 71, 73% pick rate. Alex, where we went wrong last night. Let's start with easily JL Man.
Yeah.
We went wrong there. You did. I picked JL Man to win that game. They did. A close game over the Green Wave. That one surprised you a little bit?
No, not really. I mean, I know I picked easily. I thought it was going to be a really close game, like it turned out to be.
Yeah, I did.
I really struggled with who to pick in this game, and you had already put your pick for J.O. Man in, and
You just want to be different, didn't you?
Well, I wanted to be different. What kind of show would it be if we completely
agreed
on everything? So,
well, that one cost you last night.
Yeah.
JL Man over easily. Greenwood Hannah was the opposite.
Well, that one cost you.
It cost me.
Yeah.
I picked the Eagles. You picked Hannah. By the way, very close game.
Yeah. 22-21.
Yeah, I said yesterday I thought this might be one of the better games, and man, Hannah, what a roll they're on as of these last few weeks. I mean, these guys have rolled off some impressive wins, taking down Greenwood. Greenwood's now lost for the first time this season, I believe, Alex.
Yes.
First loss of the season. They beat Dorman over at Dorman a couple of weeks ago. And, boy, what a game it was last night. Jason Tolan just seems to always have that team rolling at the right time. The Yellow Jackets lost, in week 0 to Burns.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, Alex, they
rolled off 3 straight. They had the bye week after the Burns game, and then they rolled off 3 straight against Westside, Wren, and now Greenwood.
And good teams, too.
Yeah.
Good teams, man. So I was wrong there. You and I both picked Southside over Carolina last night. Why don't we do that?
I mean, for 3 quarters, it looked like it was going to be a tie at
and
zeros.
It still may be. You never know. It might change. 6-0 final score?
6-0 final score. I'm thinking maybe some of the light bulbs in the scoreboard were messed up, and
That's
actually
why,
was a 0-0
So
final.
we got that one wrong. What about Blue Ridge Pickens, man? We both got that one wrong. We both picked Pickens. And Blue Ridge, what a night offensively for them.
They were really impressive last night. I had a friend that was at that game. Shout out to Jeff. He was at that game, and he texted me after the game, and he said that Blue Ridge played a heck of a game.
Sounded like one of the better games of the night, right?
And just absolutely was back and forth and ended up winning it 50-42 over Pickens.
Congratulations to Blue Ridge. Just a big win for those guys last night. We got that one wrong. Also last night, what we got right, what we got wrong, Daniel Clinton, Alex, I went with Old Faithful, and Daniel, you went with Clinton. Tell me about that one. Did you think the Red Devils were really going to pull it, or were you just wanting to be a little bit different again?
No, I really thought the Red Devils were going to pull that one off. You went with Old Faithful and Daniel, and I kind of went with Old Faithful and Clinton. Clinton's played some good football here recently, and I really thought that Clinton was going to do it. And hey, look, it was only an 8-point loss, so 41-33, a good game. It was at Clinton, so I was kind of giving Clinton the benefit of the doubt, having the home field advantage, if you will. And I thought they were going to pull it off, but Daniel proved me wrong.
Good game last night. Now, here's the one that I'm still scratching my head over.
Yeah.
We both got wrong. And maybe I just don't know enough about West Oak football. Okay, maybe that's on me. But, Alex, you and I both picked Landrum last night. We both picked Landrum, and West Oak come out, and last night they came out, and it wasn't really close. West Oak jumped on them. And I don't know that game was really ever close. What was it, 36-16 last night? Big win for West Oak.
36-16, yeah. And at one point, West Oak had a 23-0 lead. That was the last that I saw going into the fourth. It was 23-0. So, I mean, that just tells you what happened in the fourth. You had another 13-16. You had 30 points scored in the fourth.
It's crazy. So I didn't see that coming, man. Now, listen, we're going to talk to Lynn Fleming in about 8 minutes on the show. We both got wrong. And we didn't, we're not going to talk to Lynn Fleming about this, but we both picked Powdersville over Broome last night.
Yeah.
And, Broome, what a year it's been, because they're 2-3. They've already played 5 games. They've got some tough losses, but they've got some quality wins. They have a big win over Chesney, right? Now you have a big win over Broome. Over Powdersville.
Yeah.
a Powdersville team that just went toe-to-toe a couple of weeks ago with Wren. I mean, this is a good Powdersville team. This one surprised me last night. Maybe the biggest of the night, seeing Broome score as many as they did, Alex.
Yeah, no, that really surprised me. I was going through, I was trying to find the scores last night, get in our little spreadsheets here,
Yeah.
and I saw someone tweet something about how it was Powdersville homecoming. It was Powdersville's homecoming game,
Oh, wow.
and they kind of made it sound like that put a little bit of a chip on the shoulder for Broome, and
Sure.
Broome just came out and did what they needed to do to get the win.
That's so impressive, man. Lynn Fleming and those guys, it's just a big win, big night offensively, 53 total points. So we'll talk to Lynn Fleming about it here coming up a little bit later on the show. And then the last one we both got wrong, Alex, last night, as I went 21-6, you went 20-7. Saluda, new coach,
Yeah.
first-year head coach. And how dare you and I pick against Southside Christian? What were we thinking?
How dare we? What are we thinking? Yeah.
What are we doing? I mean, we both picked Saluda there.
Yeah.
But
Southside Christian 28-0 in that game.
yeah, how about this? South Carolina media poll top 10 in each classification. How they fared this week, looking at each school and what happened. The South Carolina media polls released every single week by Lou Bezjak and those guys who do post it on social media. Diesel, South Carolina top 10, 5A, how they fared this week. Dutch Fork was number 1 in last week's media poll. And guess what?
Yeah, they took the big old L.
Took
a very
night
rare Dutch Fork loss
to a 3A
Oceanside
team.
Collegiate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, no disrespect to Oceanside. They're a really good team. We all know what they can do and the advantages they have. Dutch Fork, number 1, lost to Oceanside Collegiate. Irmo will probably move up in the 5A media poll. They defeated Myrtle Beach 59-21 last night. Northwestern will probably move up. They squeaked by Nation Ford 75-21.
Yeah.
Real close game there. Greenwood.
Nation Ford had a lead in that game.
What, the very first
8-0.
Was it really?
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden Northwestern got off the bus? Is that right?
Yeah.
So Greenwood was 4. They lost. They'll fall a little bit. Somerville was 5. They defeated Chapin last night 50-14. James Island was 6. Burns was 7. Dorman was 8. All 3 of those schools won last night. Ridgeview was off. Gaffney was 2-2 at number 10. They defeated Boiling Springs. So you expect Gaffney, Dorman, and Burns to all be a little bit higher in that top 10, and rightfully so there. In 4A, South Point was number 1. They defeated AC Flora last night, 35-13. South Florence, North Augusta, that was 2-3, Alex. They also won last night. Now, number 4, AC Flora, they lost to South Point last night, 35-21. Bishop England, Seneca, Camden, Daniel, all of those teams who were 5, 6, 7, 8 in the 4A poll won. They'll move up. Midland Valley lost to Great Collegiate, so they might fall a little bit. In 3A in the media poll, Belton Honeypath was 1. They defeated Palmetto last night. Woodruff was 2. They defeated Chesney. Mountain View Prep was 3. Newberry was 4. Loris was 5. Dillon was 6. Oceanside was 7. And all of those teams in the top 7 won last night. How about that? All of them won last night. Now, Powdersville was 8. They lost. Orangeburg Wilkinson was 9. They defeated Keenan 35-14. And Marlboro County was 10. So that is where we're looking at. In 2A, Clinton was 2. They lost to Daniel last night, so we'll see if they fall a little bit. Central was number 1 in the Class 2A media poll. So a little bit of how they fared last night. We'll take our first break of the show. On the other side, we will talk more in depth about the games that happened last night, and we'll also be joined by Lynn Fleming, the head coach of the Broome Centurions. All that and more right here on the Fan Upstate.
Clear.
High school football
Mike
rules
is
on
hot.
the Saturday morning scramble.
Only on the Fan Upstate.
High school football conversation continuing right here on the Fan Upstate. Jersey Joe on the Facebook stream says, good morning, gents. Let's get scrambled. I like it, Jersey Joe. Appreciate you watching the show, as you can do on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at the Fan Upstate. 71 of you on the stream right now, and we appreciate you doing so however you listen or watch. High school football continues. We have Lynn Fleming of Broome coming up in a few minutes, but first, let's go to the phone lines at 844-326-3663. Daredevil wants to weigh in. What's up, buddy?
Man, I would watch the show, Cole, but I'm just as good to listen to it. Hey, man, you talked Greer last week.
Daredevil, you can't call in and make a blind joke. You just, I guess you can, but.
Hey, man, okay, you watched Greer last week, and you've seen what they did last night. Are they good for their region?
Yeah, you know what the thing about it with Greer is, you and I've talked about it before, man. Will Young always schedules tough, and that non-region, they usually go, 1-3, 0-4, something like that. Alex, you and I talk about it. That's what they are right now, I believe, 1-4. And look, the region, no disrespect, Daredevil, to those region teams. I don't think the region's as tough as the non-region. There's some good teams in it. Don't get me wrong, but I think Will Young's philosophy has always been, the non-region will help prepare you for the region play.
And it seems to do it. And you just told me to look, by the way. And I'm sorry. I'll take this off there. I'm sure it's early, but Burns and Gaffney, who's the best to do?
I think it's a three-headed race, my opinion, between Dorman, Burns, and Gaffney. I think it's three teams who are going to be fighting it out. And what's so important, Daredevil, is Burns and Dorman play 6 days from today.
Yep.
Spartanburg Gaffney plays 6 days from today. So you'll start to really find out. I think Dorman's really, really good. And I think Gaffney and Burns are going to be right there in the mix as well. And I think those three, wouldn't you agree, Alex? Those three, probably the three favorites, I guess you will, with as much as Spartanburg lost last year.
Yeah, I think so, Cole. And I mean, you look at what Spartanburg has done so far to start the season. I mean, obviously you started the season with two defending state champions in Northwestern and Dutch Fork, but and that's going to get you prepped and get you prepared and ready for the region play. But I do have to agree that I think right now, going into the second region game of the season for these teams, that it is Dorman, Burns, Gaffney, and not necessarily in that order. It kind of just depends on the day of the week and the night and what's going on.
Injuries, man. Burns had a couple of really bad injuries last night. And Daredevil, I mean, what do you think? Who do you think the favorite is?
I like Burns, but I sit with Reggie Shaw at the Burns table at the Touchdown Club every Thursday. But I like Burns, and I would say I'll see y'all later, but I won't really.
Daredevil, bye. God, you are the best.
Thanks, Daredevil.
He's a mess, isn't he? I mean, he's the absolute best. We love Daredevil. Appreciate the phone call. Texter says, for nearly 35 years, I've been following Wade Hampton High School, and there has never been a hesitation when answering who won Burns versus Wade Hampton. That comes from Joey. Joey, funny text. Texter from the 320, Alex, you'll like this one. Texter gets in and says, Greenville Hurricanes homeschool, 27. Providence Athletic Club, 6.
There we go.
I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's completely made up.
The
but
Greenville Hurricanes homeschool, that they are a team. It's incredibly difficult for me to find their final scores.
Wonder why
on Friday nights. So.
Ricky on the Facebook stream says Gaffney and Burns game will be the region championship game. It could be, but I do think Ricky Dorman's going to be right there in the mix as well. I really do. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get to Lynn Fleming, the head football coach of the Broome Centurions. Alex, they had a huge win last night.
Yeah.
Over Powdersville. That was a game that you and I both got wrong. And when you did the scores to start the show back about 30 minutes ago, Broome scored
53-46.
53 points last night. I mean, all of a sudden, you and I were really concerned about Broome a couple of weeks ago. They beat a really good Chesney team. And then for them to beat Powdersville last night, Dearberry at quarterback, it's looking like these Broome Centurions might have figured something out.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the schedule that they've had so far. I mean, they opened the season with BHP.
Yeah.
When you open the season with BHP,
That's
it's
tough.
going to be a tough task, and it was for them, 49-9 loss. But then they got that win against Chesney in overtime, and
Yep.
that was a game that you and I also both picked wrong. We both picked Chesney
Yeah.
to win that game, and then Broome got the win. Then you played Spartanburg, who was coming off of 2 tough losses to Northwestern and Dutch Fork. Spartanburg is a beast in and of itself, especially when you're going up against them as Broome. And then the Emerald game last week. I mean, Emerald's just on like that outer edge of our coverage area, so we don't know a whole heck of a lot about them. But 42-18 loss to Emerald. You come back in a big way. You get a big win over a really tough, really scrappy Powdersville team last night. That 43. I've seen conflicting scores. I've seen 43-45, or 53-45, 53-46. But
I think it was 53-46. I believe. I think that's right.
Okay.
You just never know.
You
Close
never
enough,
know.
right?
People just go out there and they
Make scores up.
They
How
tweet
dare you
whatever
ever
they
make
want
a
to.
score up?
Yeah.
You
How
know?
dare you? Why would you do
I
that?
don't know.
Why
That's
would
terrible.
you put 102 to nothing on a score?
John lets me know that we do have Lynn Fleming on hold, and now we're going to go right to him.
Joined now by the head football coach of the Broome Centurions, Coach Lynn Fleming, after a big 53-46
Perfect. Is that audio a little hot?
over Powdersville. Coach,
No, it's
said on
actually
the radio
balanced.
Friday
Perfect.
afternoon on my afternoon show that it felt like you and Powdersville have played 50 times in the past 3 years. Is that accurate?
It seems pretty close. I mean, we wound up playing during the season, and it's been several years we wound up playing in the playoffs.
Right.
So, they're a great football team, and Coach Mustard does
I'll
a
let
great
you know when it's
job.
almost
just
done.
a classy program, and we always
We're
enjoy
not
playing
clear on
those
here, by
guys.
the way.
Does it feel like a region game a little bit for you guys?
It does, it almost needs to be. We get to the point where we only play 4 region games, so it seems like everybody else is starting region play. So, it kind of does. So, hopefully, we can kind of continue to build off this.
Talking to Lynn Fleming, the head football coach of the Broome Centurions, 53 points. Obviously, Coach, you guys game plan for an opponent to score every time you get the football, but to score 53 points against a team as good as Powdersville, second win of the season, what worked right for you tonight? Seemed like everything did.
Well, we had some guys that played really well, and it kind of started with up front for us. Our offensive line played really well. It's probably the best game they've had at this point. Booker, our running back, I think he had 37 touches for 238 yards and a couple scores. And our quarterback Jamison Derryberry played really well. I think he was 25 for 29 with 372 yards and a few touchdowns. And I think we might have had 2, maybe 3 receivers close to 100 yards or over 100 yards receiving. So we had a lot of guys that had a lot of touches and made a lot of plays for us, and from the skill position. But again, it all kind of starts up front with those big guys.
Coach, it's hard to believe, but 5 games in already, 2 wins, 3 losses for you guys. You've played some really tough competition thus far, and you hadn't even got the region play yet, as you mentioned. You got a bye week coming up in the next few weeks, right, Coach?
We do. Week 8 is our bye week.
Gotcha.
So, we don't have a whole lot of time. We got 2 region games before that, and so hopefully we can get some guys back healthy and keep the momentum going through next week.
Coach, what is it about your quarterback right now that's allowing him to see the field as well as he did last night in that big win over Powdersville?
Well, he just continues to get better. He works hard at practice. He understands the game. He understands what we're trying to do. And it helps every night. He goes home to his dad, who's also the coach, with the game plan. So, that's the biggest thing. And, he trusts the guys that he's got playing around him, from a running back to the receivers. And, again, our offensive line is continuing to do a great job, continue to get better each week. And, he's got a lot of trust in those guys as well. So, just a lot of trust is the biggest thing. That's just allowing him to play the way he's playing at this point.
Talking to Lynn Fleming, the head football coach of the Broome Centurions. Coach, walk us through that game. Powdersville, while you guys scored a lot, they scored a lot as well. Seemed like a very back-and-forth contest last night.
Yes, it was. I think it was 14-14 at halftime.
Wow.
So obviously a lot of points scored in the second half. And, I think a lot of it attribute to, I think Coach Mustard, I think they have a lot of guys playing both ways. And, We have a lot of guys playing both ways, and so at some point something has to kind of give.
Yeah.
You both kind of get worn down, and you're beating on each other, and so it's just two teams going to war, just kind of Iron Man football. So it's just kind of whoever could hold on at the end.
What was your message to your team, Coach, tied up at 14 at the half?
Well, just to continue, I thought we played a really good first half, and just to continue that, there's going to be highs and lows. Just let's just play the way we're capable of playing. We preached all week about not beating us. Powdersville's a team that usually they don't make a lot of mistakes. You have to beat them, and and that's kind of what we preached all week. Let's play better. Let's focus on us. Let's be better at what we do. And and I think we minimized some of those mistakes last night.
Coach, you mentioned some of the guys that made big impact plays for you. Who was the one guy or two guys even that you didn't necessarily expect to step up in the way that they did last night in that big win for you guys?
Well, we offensively, we had it's our guys that we expect to make the plays for us.
Yeah.
The we had Nick Morgan that had a big sack, to push more time off the clock. So we had a lot of different guys to step up, and just proud again of how they played and how they battled.
Coach, you've played some tough teams. Last night's win, obviously, really, really big. How have you seen through 5 games the confidence improve in your players?
Well, just the belief in each other. We don't have a great deal of numbers right now, and like I told you, we're having to play both ways, and so we're having to learn how to play tired, and we have along with that, we have to learn how to trust each other.
5 seconds.
When we can get guys breaks, we got
This
guys.
looks like it's almost wrapped up. So Mike will be hot in
allowing us to get some guys on the field for a few minutes.
4.
So it's really a team deal.
Mike is hot.
These guys, they have to kind of trust each other and believe in each other, and they continue to do that, even though record was not great. Obviously, like you said, we played some really good football teams, and so at any point they could have just said, "Hey, we're out," but they haven't. They just battled. It's a great group. It's a fun group to be around, fun group to coach, and they're a good football team, and I'm excited about again just seeing where we go from here.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the win last night. As always, we appreciate your time this morning on the Saturday Scramble, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
So much appreciate Lynn Fleming for joining us in a big, big win for Broome last night over Powdersville. And anytime, man, you talk about Broome, Powdersville, Alex, I kind of joked with them. It's almost like a region game. They play so much, very familiar with each other in terms of the opponents. And you know what? We both picked Powdersville last night, but just a big win for those guys. Real quick, before we run off to a break, a lot of new listeners just tuning in on radio as well as on the stream as well, or our where you can watch the show, by the way, on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. 116 watching right now. Alex, how about one more time this hour? Let's hit the scores from last night. Every single score. We'll take a break. Then we'll have Trey Stewart join us in the very next segment. But the scores from last night, Alex Guest.
Yeah, scores from last night. It's J.O. Mann getting a 14-13 win over Easley. That's going to be Bryce Smiley's first win as a head coach in high school football. So congratulations to Bryce Smiley on a 14-13 win over Easley. It's Greenville, a 28-18 winner over Woodmont last night. T.L. Hanna picks up a 22-21 win over Greenwood. Hillcrest defeated Malden in what everyone was kind of dubbing the game of the week, 29-7.
Yeah.
It's Gaffney 34-7.
Battle of the Golden Strip, right?
Yeah, Battle of the Golden Strip.
Sorry, didn't mean to throw you off there. Keep going.
God, Gaffney 34-7 winners over Boiling Springs. Game you heard right here on these airwaves last night. Burns a 45-3 winner over Wade Hampton. It is Dorman 31-3 over Riverside. Spartanburg picked up a 48-34 win over Eastside. Strom Thurmond 35-13 winners at Emerald. Fountain Inn a 49-7 win over St. Joe's. It's Carolina and Southside going down to the wire. Carolina 6-0 win over the Tigers of Southside. Prince Avenue out of Georgia, a 59-34 win over Westside. It's Greer picking up a big 56-0 win over Berea. Blue Ridge 50-42 winners over Pickens. Daniel defeats Clinton 41-33. It's Seneca 42-10 over Travelers Rest. Belton Honeypath blinks Palmetto 49-0. Crescent a 59-21 winner over 96. Liberty 70-42 over Walhalla. West Oak 36-16 over Landrum. Christchurch 48-20 over Chapman. It's Broome 53-46 over Powdersville. Southside Christian 28-0 over Saluda. Mountain View Prep 41-19 over American Leadership. Chester 55-36 over Union County. It's Woodruff 52-17 over Chesney, and Central defeated Blacksburg 40-6. And I will catch my breath.
Catch your breath. Is that all of them? Is that all of them?
And our Skeezer friends, it's Greenwood Christian 34-21 over Orangeburg Prep. Northside Christian defeated Spartanburg Christian 32-14. And our Greenville
we did have a
Homeschool,
one text
a
about
27-6 win over the Providence Athletic
we
Club.
think
And
that's real. We don't really know.
Those are the scores from last night.
You got it done, Alex Guest. We're going to run to a break. We'll have Trey Stewart of Greer Sports join us on the other side. He was at Eastside Spartanburg last night. His thoughts on what he saw, as well as his thoughts on region play approaching for a lot of teams. Trey Stewart, Greer Sports, next right here on the Fan Upstate.
Federal Credit Union and your local Ingles market.
This is the Fan Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Streaming everywhere on the Odyssey app.
Continuing the conversation, the Saturday morning scramble rolls on. I want to say thanks to Ingles Markets as well as Founders Federal Credit Union. We're at a different Ingles every single Saturday morning. This morning we are in Chesney, South Carolina at 2375 Chesney Highway. Let's go to the phone lines where we're joined by Trey Stewart of Greer Sports. Trey was at Spartanburg Eastside last night. And Trey, a big win for Spartanburg, obviously 48-34 over Eastside, but a game where Eastside kind of came out throwing the first punch, right?
Yeah, 100%. I was very, I want to say surprised because I mean, I've known what Eastside was capable of throughout this year, but they haven't played the top, highest quality of opponent yet. And so to see them come out against a team like Spartanburg, and I mean, they took the first drive, 12 plays, 11 of them for running the ball, about 75 yards down the field for a touchdown, and just like you said, for that first punch, that was impressive. And then they went into halftime with the lead. Full credit to Coach Hodge over at Spartanburg, though. He came out, he called a fake punt, dialed a fake punt in the third quarter that completely flipped the game on its head, and kind of helped Spartanburg pull away. But no, Eastside looked good. They held their own, more than held their own for most of the game. And I think it says a lot about what kind of potential this Eastside team has this year, being able to go toe-to-toe with Spartanburg like that.
Trey, what was it in your mind that allowed Spartanburg to kind of pull away? Because you said it, Eastside had a lead. Was it depth? Eastside maybe playing guys both ways? From what you saw on the sideline in your mind, what allowed that game kind of to shift in the way of Spartanburg?
Yeah, so a couple of things. Eastside definitely plays more guys both ways than any team I've seen.
Yep.
And then to get back to that point in a second, but like I said, Spartanburg did. They almost went 3 and out. They did go 3 and out the first drive of the second half, down 21-17. But fourth and 11, Mark Hodge out a fake punt. But I believe it was Trenton Lynch. He took 45 yards down to the east side, 14-yard line. And then from that point on, Spartanburg scored the next 21 points.
Wow.
And then at that point, that was kind of all she wrote. But no, Eastside plays a ton of guys both ways, and the depth is an issue there. I mean, even just looking at the Eastside sidelines, I mean, when one side of the ball is on the field, there's just not that many guys on the Eastside sideline. But full credit to those guys who do play both ways for Eastside, especially a guy like Lucas Tankersley, who plays linebacker and running back for the Eagles. He played great last night, and I mean, I know he would have been out there every single play of the game if the coaches would have let him.
There's a lot of talk, Trey, about Peyton Schrader over at Eastside, the quarterback. But, man, Lucas last night, you mentioned Lucas Tankersley, just a beast of a running back. I saw and retweeted the video that you posted of him at Career Sports, of him taking down 8 Vikings in one play. It was incredible. This guy, I mean, maybe one of the better players in the region that's not being talked about enough, right?
He's 100% being overlooked, and I think people have kind of known what he can do at the linebacker position for a couple years now. But this year they're really turning him loose in the backfield as well. And I think Eastside's also got another quality running back in Keelan Durham. But last night against a team with the size of Spartanburg, a team with guys as big as they've got, Tankersley was definitely the answer in the backfield. He ended up rushing for 229 yards and 3 touchdowns, including that one that you were talking about, the 20-yarder where he bounced off about 8 tackles and then just trucked a bunch of dudes. And he had a 60-yarder as well in the second quarter. So he was lights out. He definitely deserves some more attention. He's one of those better overlooked athletes in a region with a ton of really good players.
And a region, Trey, with a ton of good teams as well. Eastside's always been at the bottom looking up, but Eastside this year, and look, and they may still be toward the bottom. We'll see how it shakes out. But there's no doubt that Eastside definitely has more athletes this year, a little bit better of a team. Talk about the job that Andre Wilcock's done over there.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job just getting those guys to believe, just getting those guys to lock in and truly be confident in what they can accomplish. I mean, you could see it even going into halftime last night. Those guys are fired up. Those guys, obviously the third quarter, really one play shifted the game, but I mean, those guys are fired up. They believe they can go out there and get the win. And honestly, I did too. And if that one fake punt doesn't happen, who knows what the conversation is this morning. And, I mean, the past few years, they've definitely been at the on the bottom, kind of looking up. But I'm looking at a few matchups this year in the region where in past years you'd never think Eastside would win. I'm looking at them as the favorite in a couple of these matchups this year. That I mean, Coach Wilcock and crew could easily go out and get 3 to 4 wins, maybe more in this region and make some noise.
And then the Spartanburg team, Trey, you saw them last night, obviously playing Eastside, lost a lot from a season ago, especially on that defensive side of the football. What'd you see out of them last night? A lot of young players over there, but talk about what you saw and how you expect them to fare when region play continues.
For sure. I definitely don't think they expected to, like you said, get punched in the mouth as quickly as they did last night. That might have thrown them for a loop a little bit. But full credit to those guys because they did lock down in the second half. They came out ready to play. Especially obviously everybody knows Trenton Lynch, one of the best running backs in the state. He had five touchdowns.
Wow.
Total touchdowns. Couple receiving touchdowns, I believe, and then 3 rushing scores. But they really turned quarterback Trey Burke as well. He was coming off an injury. They really turned him loose in the second half, and that man can fit the ball into some tight windows. And they really exploited that in the second half, the East Side secondary. And yeah, full credit to them. And they even shut it down the defensive side of the ball in the second half too. Just looked like a completely different team in the second half. And I'm sure it's partly some of the youth on that squad, some of the youth on the defensive side of the ball, but they looked 3 times the team they were in the first half when the second half came around.
And then 6 days from now, Trey, some really big ones coming up on Friday involving some of those teams you just talked about. You obviously cover Riverside over there in the Greer area and Burns as well.
Yeah, next week's going to be a big one, especially that Burns-Dorman matchup that's coming up.
Yeah.
Next field, that might be – I think that game's going to say a lot about how the region shakes out standings-wise at the end of the year. Both teams are obviously playing really good football right now. It'll probably be a top 5, top 6 matchup next week when it gets here. And I'm excited for that one. I think that's a big one. A big prove-it game for Burns. A big prove-it game for the team.
Trey, I failed to mention before we let you go real quick, you also cover Blue Ridge. And talking about a big win last night, Blue Ridge just lighting up the scoreboard. Alex and I both got that one wrong. I mean, your thoughts on what you saw from Blue Ridge last night?
Yeah, no, there's no question. They can put points on the board quick. And what's impressive about that one is they were down in the fourth quarter, and they came back to win that one. And that's the second time that they've come back to win a game in the fourth quarter this year, which they didn't have a single one of those games, I believe, in 2024. And just to see the job that Coach Boggs is doing over there, getting his guys to rally and believe in what they can do as well has been awesome to see. And they're 3-1 now. Headed into their last non-region game before region play fully picks up.
Trey,
cool to see.
on the online as well as on social media, how can people find your work?
Oh yeah, at Greer News Sports on X and on Facebook and GreerNews.com for all Greer area sports coverage.
Appreciate you, Trey, as always, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all having me.
Absolutely. Trey Stewart of Greer Sports talking about Eastside and some other teams he covers last night. He also covers Riverside, Alex. We hadn't really brought that one up yet before we run to a break. A tough one for them last night. Dorman all over Riverside. You and I both picked Dorman, thought Dorman would win that game, so not a ton of surprise, but, man, it seemed like total domination. Only 1 touchdown by Riverside last night against Dorman.
Yeah, was it did they have a touchdown or was that a 31-3?
Oh,
I think it was 31-3 was the final in that one.
You might be right. I apologize. Let me. You just went over the scores. I should have.
Well,
have better
I was
memory.
like speed reading.
31-3.
So, yeah, 31-3. So, I mean, yeah, just a absolute dominant performance by Dorman last night. It seemed like, and Riverside ever since that first win over Malden, which Malden seems like a much improved team.
Sure.
After that week 0 loss. But, Riverside, ever since that first win, 41-27 over Malden, they kind of hit hard times. They got blanked by Greenville, 28-0. Got beat by Christ Church by 2, 37-35. Had the bye week last week. And then, open region play. Riverside doesn't, obviously, with the region they're in, it doesn't get any easier. But if there's one consolation after the game last night with a loss to Dorman, they get a road trip to Wade Hampton this next week. And that's no disrespect to Wade Hampton, but we've seen what Riverside's able to do against that Wade Hampton team in years past.
Also, before we run to a break, want to say congratulations to Bryce Smiley for his first career win at JL Man last night, Alex. 14-13 win for JL Man, and Coach Smiley, it took him a few games to get that first win, but I'm sure he's glad to have that monkey off his back.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to Bryce Smiley, longtime co and single defensive coordinator at Gaffney and a Gaffney alum. And, he's a great football mind, and when you're starting first year
It's tough, man.
out of the gate, it's tough. But congratulations to Bryce Smiley and the J.O. Man Patriots on getting that 14-13 win over Easley.
Hour number 2 coming your way right here on the Fan Upstate 97.1 FM in Spartanburg, 97.7 FM in Greenville, anywhere in the world on the free Odyssey app, iHeartRadio app as well. And you can watch the show on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll talk Chesney football coming up in the next segment.
Let me get a picture real quick.
You'll be good now.
Let me get a picture.
That's okay.
Let me get a picture real quick.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
Go.
Scale through the tailback and linebacker. Is that right? See? I like it. We'll get you all out of here. We'll get Evan and Clayton on after the
I don't know everyone said it.
You might just want to stand right there and just hold it.
Look at the chair.
Get them in the or on that side, whatever you think.
I guess there.
Stop the camera. Hold the
Yeah, I got you.
right now it's facing you like yourself. There you go. Just pretend, Kel, the mics aren't here. We're just having a normal little conversation. Okay? Nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. No problem. Don't be nervous. Okay. All right.
The sports voice of the Upstate fan. And Odyssey Sports Station. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Scramble.
Here we go. Mike is hot
News
in
and interviews
3,
from the world
2.
of South
Mike is hot.
Carolina high school football.
Powered by Founders Federal Credit Union, official credit union of the Saturday Morning Scramble, and your local Ingles Market.
It's the Saturday Morning Scramble on the Fan Upstate.
Hour number 2 of the Saturday Scramble coming your way, high school football fans. So good to be with you on this Saturday morning. I'm Cole Bryson, joined by Alex Guest. We are live this morning at 2375 Chesney Highway. As always, want to say thanks to Ingles Markets, as we are at a different Ingles every single Saturday morning. We'll tell you where we're going to be next week, coming up a little bit later in the show, but it's always good to be with you. Also want to say thanks to Founders Federal Credit Union for their sponsorship of the Saturday Morning Scramble. But let's talk a little Chesney Eagles football with 4 Chesney Eagles. Coach Ethan Ray. We also have Kel Thrift, tailback and linebacker. He's a senior for Chesney, joining us, and then we'll get to Evan Lauder and Blake Cochran. But, Coach, tough one last night. That's a really good Woodruff team you guys lost to.
Yeah, they very fast, very physical from the get-go. We knew we were going to have a tough night. Tried to do some things offensively to get them in some packages.
Yeah.
We're able to move the ball 2 or 3 drives, come up with some points. Defensively, that tailback, he's the real deal.
No
for
doubt.
Woodruff. They're a well-coached team, and they had our number last night.
You mentioned the final score, obviously, always not indicative in sports of how that game obviously went. But last night, you mentioned it was a little bit closer in the second half. Is that right?
Well, we cut it to 14 before half. Then they came out and scored. We kind of traded blows for a little bit. We come out and score again. Then they onside kick it, and they kind of jump on us.
Yeah. Final score 52-17 last night. Woodruff takes down Chesney. A tough one for you guys, Coach, but you guys have a bye week coming up. Maybe a good time for this bye week for you and the staff. And obviously, for those listening, want to remind people, Coach Brett Chappell couldn't be with us this morning. His son had a wrestling tournament, and he was at that. So we did bring you, Coach Ray, a little assistant coach flavor on this Saturday morning. I like it. We love assistant coaches too. And it's always good to have that bye week after a tough loss to kind of refocus and get healthy, right?
Yeah, we get a tough Blacksburg team in 2 weeks. Then we get Clinton and Liberty. So we play in a tough region.
No doubt.
There's not a slouch in our region. You got Blacksburg, who's very good, and the record may not show exactly what they are, but they're always well coached. They're always gritty. You got to defend in 2A state champs in Clinton.
Yeah.
Liberty's a very good football team. They're tough. And then you always got Landrum. It's a big rivalry. So, we got a tough region. Use this week to get better, work on us, and, go from there.
Coach Ethan Ray joining us right here on the Fan Upstate on the Saturday Scramble. Talk about second year now with Brett Chappell, what it's like coaching under him, what it's like being on the sideline with him. I mean, what he's done in 2 short years has been pretty incredible. Seems like Chesney made the right hire, obviously.
Yeah, Coach Chappell's awesome. He's a great coach, not just in the X's and O's, but he always prepares us players and coaches the best way possible. He always preaches that every week's an opportunity. Every day's an opportunity. Every practice is an opportunity to get better. And, our guys have really taken ownership of that. And, so we use that to our advantage.
Tell us who you have to the right, Coach.
We've got senior tailback Kel Thrift. He's a
heck of a player for us. Plays both sides of the ball. Never comes off the field.
Never comes off the field,
Never
Kel?
comes off the field.
Is that right? Is that your
Sir.
choice, Kel?
Sometimes.
Just depends on the situation.
That's right.
Kel Thrift, senior tailback and linebacker of Chesney, joining us with Coach Ethan Ray as well. We'll talk to Evan Lauder and Blake Cochran in just a few minutes. Kel, tailback and linebacker, which of those is your favorite?
I can't say I got a favorite.
Like both.
Yes, sir.
What-
I love hitting
Which
people
one
and
did
I like
you?
moving the ball.
Which one did you start playing like at a young age coming up? Were you always playing tailback or was it defense
Yes,
first? for you?
sir. Both of them.
Really?
I started from second grade.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So it's
Running back,
always
linebacker.
been both sides of the ball kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
What about when you guys are playing teams? Do you ever try? And again, this is just out of curiosity. Do you as a player ever try to save a little fuel for later in the game? Because knowing that you play both ways, you know that at some point during the game you're going to get fatigued a little bit.
Honestly, not really. I just especially with this being my senior year, man.
Yeah.
Like it's all or nothing.
Sure.
So.
Talk about last night, Kel, a tough Woodruff team that Coach talked about. Obviously, those guys are really talented, well coached as well, just like you guys are. But talk us through that game and kind of what went right for you, even though you guys had the loss. Some things you feel like you did good last night.
I think that honestly we could have just showed up with more energy, and momentum's a huge thing. And it's like we were down 2 touchdowns going into halftime, and like just right there, that's a 2-possession game.
Yeah.
And then they come back, they score, then they get that onside kick, and then it keeps going, and then you could just feel the heads drop.
The onside kick kind of felt like, I guess, a turning point,
Right.
where they just kept piling
Right.
on. What
Yes,
you said, more energy. What is that from a senior perspective? You as a senior, you as a leader on this football team. Now that you've kind of learned that from last night, how do you approach each game differently? What do you talk to your team about in terms of bringing more energy that you just mentioned?
Trying to trust each other and just trying to maintain the flow of the game, like just staying with it, even if if we have like a step back or a setback, just learning to trust each other and keep going.
No doubt. What do you feel like your senior year? What do you feel like you've done well, but also some things you want to continue to get better at?
Done well. I think. I mean, honestly, it's hard to look at stuff you've done good and give yourself props. But I know
you're too humble. That's the thing.
I know there's
too humble, Coach.
Yeah, he's been a great teammate. You know,
there's a
stepped
lot
up
more we
in
gotta
many
go get.
ways. He hardly ever asks for a break. Blocks very well
Yeah.
when he's asked to. Runs the ball extremely hard. So he's been a great teammate, great leader for us, on and off the field.
No doubt. No doubt. What's it mean to be a senior on this team? Like you've got other seniors that you guys, I'm sure, are tight with, and obviously in a few months your season's going to come to an end, right? Everybody's does. How do you try to continue to compartmentalize each game and not worry about what the outcome is later on in the year?
Just making the most of it.
Yeah.
Of every play, every opportunity, whether it's not even looking at the scoreboard.
Sure.
Just making sure I have fun with my guys. We give it our all, and just making sure I live the rest of my life knowing I have no mistake or no regret.
We're talking to Kel Thrift, senior tailback and linebacker. What do you I know it's still early in your senior year. What do you want to do after you graduate? Any ideas yet?
I have a family business that my dad and my
Okay.
uncle run. It's
What is it?
Palmetto Group, general
Okay.
contracting.
Yeah.
So I want to pursue that.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Already in the family, so it might be easy for you to transition. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Kel, when you look at these other two guys behind you, we'll talk to Evan and Blake in a minute. Who's the funnier of the two?
Funnier?
Funnier of the two behind you, Evan or Blake?
I don't know. When it comes to attitude, they both pretty lame, but I'll let them respond to that when they get on
All right,
here.
let me ask you this. Between the two, if you had to, by the way, we're talking to Kel Thrift, senior tailback and linebacker. If you were on a road trip, hours on end, which of the two would you choose to be on the road trip with? You can say it out loud. It's okay. Can't choose both. You got to choose one.
Gunner. I ain't gonna lie, Evan.
Okay. Evan Lauder is who you're choosing. Not throwing anybody under the bus here, I promise.
No.
Coach,
I mean, I'll tell them why.
Yeah. Coach, talk about these seniors. Obviously, every year you have graduation, but you and the rest of the staff and Coach Chappell, I'm sure there's something special about each group, but what makes this group special?
Just their buy-in. This is their second year under Coach Chappell, and they had 2 years under Coach Lewis. So just their buy-in from a whole senior class perspective, they really bought into what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build. And they've been great mentors to the younger guys. From going back from January, that weight room, that's what we wanted to, get involved in. And these guys have just been leaders throughout it all.
When you, as a staff, Coach Chappell and you guys are going to now approach this bye week, and then you talk about Blacksburg, what does the bye week look like from a coaching staff standpoint in terms of evaluating what games you've played, what you've done well, but also areas you need to improve?
Yeah, this is a good week for us to just see what we do well, see what we can get better at, just kind of worry about us this week, get healthy, got a few bruises and banged up, but, just get healthy. The main part is just keep the main focus, right?
Sure.
Because we're going to have a tough region schedule. So
No doubt.
We got to work on us this week and then get a tough Blacksburg game 2 weeks.
No doubt. Joined by Coach Ethan Ray and Kel Thrift, tailback and senior linebacker for the Chesney Eagles. Kel, when you're not on the football field, what are your hobbies? What do you like doing off the field?
Work.
That's it? You're just a working kind of guy?
Yes, sir.
Already in the family business, I assume?
Yes, sir.
All right. Not work-related, not football-related, going to make it even tougher. Now that you can't choose work, what would you say? Saturday. What are you doing on a Saturday? What's Kel Thrift doing on a Saturday? What's his hobbies?
Trying to heal my body.
Okay, smart.
I'm hurting today.
A little banged up, right?
Playing the game.
That's right.
Yeah, 2K out.
2K? Is that what your go-to is? Xbox or PlayStation guy?
Xbox.
Really? Why?
I've had them both. I like them both.
But you prefer Xbox?
That's just what I got right now.
So are you a 2K over the new college football game? You're not a big fan of that?
Absolutely.
Do you have the new EA Sports game yet?
Yes, sir.
But you prefer 2K?
And Madden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are you playing with in 2K if you played right now?
I be playing like my career with like the mob player in the park, but
you versus Coach Ray though. Who are you choosing? What team?
I probably drop them off with like the Spurs.
Wow. Okay. I didn't expect that. Didn't expect.
Spurs.
You think you can take Coach Ray? 2K?
I know I could take Coach Ray. I know I could.
You spend so much time on it, all right? You should be good at it, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we'll say. Well, Coach, Kel, we appreciate you both. We'll let y'all hand the headsets literally to Evan and Blake and bring those guys on and see what good news they have to say. Coach, thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Appreciate you, Kel. Literally just hand them off, and we'll get Evan and Blake on the show as we're continuing the conversation at Ingalls in Chesney, South Carolina, talking a little Chesney Eagles football. And, a big one last night between Chesney and Woodruff. Obviously, Woodruff pulled away in that one, 52-17 win for the Wolverines. Evan Lauder, Blake Cochran is who is joining us now. Blake, tailback and safety, right, sophomore?
Yes, sir.
How are you, man?
Good.
Evan, a little quarterback, a little safety as well.
Yes,
we
sir.
know your name, obviously, a junior. What about the senior behind you? Were you upset with the trash talking? Did you hear any of that?
No, I did not.
So I asked if he were to choose one of y'all to go on a road trip with, who he would choose. Do you have any issue with who he chose on that? Blake, do you have any issue?
Wait, what?
I asked Kel if he had to pick one of y'all to go on a road trip with, only one of you, right?
Yes,
in a
sir.
car, hours on end, and he did choose Evan, I believe. So Blake, sorry about that. You chose
That's cool.
Evan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're joined now by Evan Lauder, Blake Cochran. Blake, we'll start with you, man. You're a sophomore tailback, plays a little safety as well. Talk about last night's game, a really good Woodruff team. What do you feel like went right for you guys, but also areas where you feel like that game got out of hand?
I feel like to start the game, we were moving the ball good. That's really our offense is small amounts of yards at a time and traveling down the field. And we done that good. We moved to a little bit of spread.
Yeah.
And it worked out good. And we kept scoring. Defense didn't hold up too great.
Yeah, but it's a good Woodruff team, right?
Yeah, it's a good team.
Yeah. Evan, talk about it last night from the quarterback position. Obviously, you're seeing Woodruff's defense most of the night. What'd you see from them defensively that gave you guys some trouble, and sometimes you get a hat tip when you're playing a good team like Woodruff last night.
Really disciplined and smart reading plays. I mean, as a quarterback, that's kind of hard to deal with, but
Sure.
That's a good team.
So you say that the discipline and reading plays, what they do defensively, was it disguise coverages? What was it? Walk us through what made it tough on you last night.
I mean, first of all, the ends came straight through the line. Backers shooting down to gaps if they see a certain formation we line up in, and just the scouting coverage is like man or zone.
So it all starts really on the defensive line.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know, no doubt about it. Blake, let me ask you this: you play tailback and safety. Which one is your favorite?
Tailback.
Why?
I like running the ball.
You do? You like having the football in your hand?
Yeah.
I asked Kel which one he liked better, tailback and linebacker. He said he didn't have a preference. Do you believe that?
Nah, he definitely likes defense more.
We're talking to Evan Lauder and Blake Cochran of Chesney. Blake, you play tailback and safety. What is your role on the team as a sophomore? We just talked to Kel, who's a senior, your quarterback, obviously a junior, and Evan Lauder, younger guy on this football team. Talk about your role and kind of how you've developed thus far this season.
Like, I'm more of like an explosive play. Like,
Sure.
I'm gonna hype the team up. I'm gonna get us hyped.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure we're doing what we need to do to win.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Let me ask you this, and both of you can answer this one. When you go back and watch last night's game, obviously you want to learn from it, but then you want to flush it as well, right? Move on to the bye week and then Blacksburg. What do you guys, and Blake, we can start with you on this one. It doesn't matter. What do you look for when you're watching and evaluating yourself from last night's loss? Obviously, in a win, you still watch film, but in a loss, you watch a little bit closer, right?
Yeah, you gotta take the good things from it. See what you're doing good, and see what you can work on.
Evan, what about you when you were watching film?
Mistakes I could have changed to be a positive gain to the team. Not even just me, but anybody.
Now, you mentioned, obviously, Woodruff bringing pressure up front from the defensive line. How do you as a quarterback, not change your game, but how do you adapt and adjust throughout the course of the season? If like, for example, if you see that, the defensive line or the edge is bringing a lot of pressure, they're getting to you quick, what can you do as a quarterback to kind of negate some of that pressure?
Get the ball out faster, step up in the pocket, just get out.
Yeah, I'm with you. Talk about Coach Chappell, second year, obviously, came in late last year, really didn't have a full offseason. So this year was his full offseason. Evan, then we'll come to you. Evan Lauder, the quarterback. What's it been like playing under Coach Chappell so far?
It's been fun and an experience I enjoyed. He's a good man, and he's a good coach, and he's developed me more into a quarterback than I was last year.
What do you mean by the development? For somebody out there listening, how has he developed you?
He's got me faster, stronger. He's got me standing in the pocket instead of just rolling out. He's got me more calm, sitting under pressure. This made me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Blake, what about you playing for Coach Chappell? Have you enjoyed it so far?
Yeah, I love Coach Chappell. He not many coaches like have trust in like younger players. And
Sure.
I like that with him.
Yeah.
He giving me the ball, third down, fourth down.
Yeah. All right. I asked Kel the same question. Evan, when you're not playing football, what are your hobbies? What does Evan Lauder like to do in his free time?
Sleeping or gaming.
What game? Kel said 2K on his answer.
2K and NCAA.
Who would win between you and Kel in 2K?
Me.
Really? That was a really quick answer. Really quick. I don't know if Kel heard that or not, but why? I mean, why would you win? Just all around better?
I'm just better.
He said he would choose the Spurs if he were playing today. Who would you choose? Against
Timberwolves.
them? Okay.
Yeah.
Minnesota? Ant-Man?
Yes, sir.
Blake, what do you do in your free time? What's your hobbies look like, man?
Eat,
sleep, and football. Is that it?
Game. Yep.
What game?
2K.
What is it? Is it only 2K? I mean, that's
It
the only game y'all play?
It just came out.
Oh, did it
2K26.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, but not a college football game. No interest there.
I mean, yeah, I play it, but
yeah. Who would
2K just came
you?
out.
Both of you, if you played right now in college football, which team would you choose?
Clemson.
You a
LSU.
Clemson fan? Oh, a little rematch. Who's your team, Evan?
Clemson, but I just like using multiple teams.
Yeah. Well, you both Clemson fans?
Yeah.
What about Clemson season? What are your thoughts on that?
Heartbreaking. Somewhat.
Tough start, right?
Yeah.
Tough start. Turn it around. You still have faith?
Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely still win the ACC.
Yeah. I think so. I think you're right. Guys, we appreciate you, man. Good stuff, and best of luck the rest of the season. Thanks for coming out this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We continue our number 2. Next, we have Donnie Littlejohn, the head football coach of the Gaffney Indians, joining us right here on the Fan Upstate.
Clear.
All right.
Saturday Morning Scramble, powered
Mike
by
is hot.
Federal Credit Union and your local Ingles Market.
This is the Fan Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Streaming everywhere on the Odyssey app.
Want to say thanks to Len Fleming, the head football coach of the Brome Centurions, for joining us already in the show. Also, want to say thanks to Trey Stewart of Greer Sports, Evan Lauder, Blake Cochran, Ethan Ray, Coach Ethan Ray, and Kel Thrift of Chesney. Appreciate them as well. A big show already, and we're going to keep it rolling right here on the Fan Upstate. Just had some really good interviews, and also appreciate Ingles Markets as well as Founders Federal Credit Union. Make sure you drop by and visit your local Ingles today. A lot of college football on the slate today as we're efforting Donnie Littlejohn, the head football coach of the Gaffney Indians, Alex. And at Ingles, I mean, you realize it's already, is it Halloween already? We have pumpkins out? That time of year already?
You got pumpkins. You've got the mums. You even know what a mom is?
I do know what a mom is.
Yeah.
Is it mom season? Is that a thing?
I think so.
I don't know. I really don't know. But nonetheless, Ingles has them. We love being at Ingles. We are at Ingles this morning in Chesney, South Carolina. Again, the address 2375 Chesney Highway. Appreciate, again, Chesney coming out. Coach Chappell couldn't be here this morning, but he did send Coach Ethan Ray, Evan Lauder, Blake Cochran, Kel Thrift, And, man, just a fun show already. Want to say thanks to Chesney for stopping by Ingles this morning and talking a little Chesney Eagle football after a tough loss last night. Tough loss to a really good Woodruff team, but the bye week coming at the right time for Chesney before they play Blacksburg. Let's go to the phone lines where we are joined by Donnie Littlejohn, the head football coach of the Gaffney Indians, after his first career region win last night over Boiling Springs. Coach, congratulations on that. Many more to come. How are you?
I'm doing great this morning. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for hopping on with us as well, man. A big win last night, 34-7 over Boiling Springs. Coach, talk about the preparation for Boiling Springs. Obviously, that team, man, they lost a lot from last year. They were really good a season ago. Was it difficult game planning in the sense of just not knowing as much about this team as we did last year with all the weapons they had offensively?
Absolutely. We're pretty familiar with Bowling Springs and their coaching staff, but the one thing, I think they got a new DC.
Yeah.
So that presented some problems this year, not knowing what they were going to do. But we also know that Bowling Springs is a really good football team. And, I think the stat came out this week that, the last couple of games have been decided by like 12 points or less. So we knew we were in for a team that will be well prepared and come in, feeling pretty good about themselves. So, that's kind of the message we preached all week. And I think our kids answered last night.
No doubt about it. We're joined live on the Fan Upstate by Donnie Littlejohn, the head football coach of the Gaffney Indians, a 34-7 win over Boiling Springs. Let's start defensively, Coach. You guys jumped on them offensively, but defensively for the majority of that football game last night, held them scoreless. They got obviously one touchdown, but you got to be proud of your defense. I would probably say the most consistent unit thus far this season for the Indians and what they were able to do last night.
Absolutely. We challenged the defense after the first game to put together a complete game. And, minus a couple of plays versus Greenville, I think we've done that on that side of the ball. And I know one of their goals is always to pick the shutout.
Yeah.
But those young guys, they practice all week. They help us win ball games. And any chance we can get to get those young guys in and get them some reps, we're going to take that opportunity. So I don't care about a shutout. I want everybody to have a good confidence play. Again, I think those young guys deserve it. And so I'm excited they got a chance to go in and play football last night because that's not always going to happen, especially when you're playing against a Region 2 opponent. So
Coach,
hats off to the defense for their performance, but also hats off to those young guys for getting a chance to play last night.
No doubt about it. Who were some of those guys defensively, Coach, for those that weren't at the game that have not only stepped up for you all season, but especially in that win last night?
Well, I'm super proud of Kamari Williams, who's a transfer in from JL. Man, he's come here and he's already put his mark on this defense and let everybody know he's going to be a presence to be felt all year. And then, of course, Zion Ratchford, who has been phenomenal over the last 3 years for us. He's by far the heart in the leader of that group. Chancellor Michaels, Ty McGill, Zion Dawkins. I mean, the list goes on and on. Jaleel Tate. Our defensive line was a question mark at the beginning of the year just because, they're a different type of group than what we've had in the past. Those guys that made their presence feel known, they play bigger than they are, and I couldn't be more and more.
I mean, do you know pretty much now through a few games as you've entered region play what this defensive identity will be before we move over to the offense? I mean, the old saying at some point in the season, you are who you are defensively. Obviously, I'm sure as a coach, you still have things you want to get better at too, though, right?
I do, and one of the things from last night that, again, I'm always going to be appreciative of the win, so I don't want to sound like I'm upset or mad or not excited this morning, but we got to clean up the penalties. We got to clean up that, playing within our emotions and making sure we're not doing stuff to hurt ourselves. I told the defense before, when we don't help another team out, that's with penalties, personal fouls, flags, and all that good stuff. When we don't help another team out, we've only given up 7 points this year.
Wow.
We only made teams earn 7 points. So when they play discipline and with their emotions under control, they are really, really good. Last night they played good, but we still had some fouls, some personal fouls that I'm not too happy with. But it's a growing process. It's week 5. We'll get that stuff cleaned up. But if I had one thing to point to to improve the defense, and that's going to be that. Let's clean that stuff up.
Coach, offensively, a very efficient night. It seemed like the longer the offense was on the field last night, the better it got. Obviously, Banks Boughton leading the charge at quarterback. Man, just an exceptional night for him. 200-plus yards through the air, a couple of scores as well. I mean, I know you got to be proud of him for leading that offense in the way he did last night.
Absolutely. I guess the best defense is to keep the other team's offense off the field, and the way you do that is by your offense performing. I challenged the O-line all week long that, we got some veterans there. We got 4 returning starters, and I wasn't too happy with their play, but I'm super happy with the way they picked things up last night. And just like you said, Banks Boughton stepped in and kind of, making the offense his own last night. We still have a long way to go in finding a true identity on that side of the ball. But I think last night was a great stepping stone foundation, as you say, for us to figure that part out from here on out through the rest of the season.
Coach, what would you say you've learned? And I know probably right now you're so focused on the next opponent, you're not doing a lot of evaluation in terms of on yourself. But when you have a start of the season and a shaky start in Gaffney, 1-2 start, and you're able to come out in the first region game and look as impressive as Gaffney did last night, what would you say as a coach you've learned just about number 1 and 2, and those folks are pretty upset on how the season started, as passionate as they are about high school football, but then able to turn that and translate that into the type of success that you saw last night?
Well, let's be clear. I don't think anybody's more upset than I was at us here. Been here my entire life, so trust me, all the expectations they have, I internalize those expectations. And one of my biggest problems, I guess, for myself right now is I overanalyze everything. So I've done nothing but self-reflect for the last 2 weeks. The big thing that I'm trying to instill in these guys is that, hey, we're a team. Yep. There's nobody bigger than the team. And so if I could point to one thing, I think that, one of the lessons that we learned last night, because there were some great team building moments last night on the sideline that I'm going to emphasize this week, where when things didn't go right, we didn't jump on each other, turn on each other. And that, as a coach, makes me feel extremely proud. But I guess, we're better when we are together.
Sure.
We're better when the town is pulling for us. We're better when we're pulling for ourselves. We can't be our own worst critics and attack ourselves. We always got to stay together and pull through. So I think that's the biggest thing that I learned over the last 2 weeks. When you put your mind to it and we work together, I don't think there's a whole lot we can't accomplish.
It's interesting after a 1-2 start, Coach. You brought up something interesting there. Everybody wants to focus on the X's and O's, and look, rightfully so. Not saying those aren't important. They are. Obviously, you have to out-scheme and out-talent your opponent on Friday nights. But interesting aspect of it is the chemistry that you touched on, the team aspect, the unity of it. I don't know if you've seen Top Gun Maverick, but the scene where they're about to go on their mission and they're caught out on the beach playing football, and the admiral's, questioning why they're on the beach just a couple of days before their mission. And, look, it's about chemistry. It's about coming together as a team. And that was kind of the overall overarching theme of that scene, was that they wanted to be more unified. What do you do as a head coach, as a football team, when you are 1-2 to still focus on what needs to be focused on with the X's and O's, but also keep the team chemistry a big part of your mission?
Well, first of all, you find the guys who are on the team that are all in, who are your leaders. And on offense, I challenged Banks Boughton to step up. I challenged Scotland Dover and Cameron Shippey to step up. Josiah Hill and Justin Dawkins and, Isaiah Ellis and Hampton Boykins, these seniors who this should mean more to, because, they're only guaranteed a few more games.
Sure.
On defense, I challenged Chanson Michaels and Zion Ratchford and Jaleel Tate and some of those seniors and Kelton Smith hey guys, listen, you're only guaranteed 10 games. Now, what we do with those 10 games takes you into the next phase of the journey, and that's the postseason play. And so it is very important. We come out and everybody's 0-0 before last night, and now we're 1-0 in the region. And hopefully next week we'll be 2-0. We need to keep stacking those wins in the region so we can get a better seed in the postseason to hopefully have games at home and continue your journey as a senior. You only get this one time in your lifetime to be seniors in high school, so please don't not appreciate this and take advantage of all of it. So that's kind of what I did, is to challenge those seniors and try to find some leaders in the locker room. We can do it as coaches, but it means so much more when it's peer led and when it's coming from those players.
Coach, last question for you. Obviously, you'll take a region win. You'll want to enjoy your Saturday, but how quickly do you have to turn the page and start focusing on Spartanburg?
Well, my wife just left out and said I got to take my kids to Big E, so I think she's making me at least take 24 hours to watch.
That's good.
To do anything with football.
Yeah.
So I think she's spoken. Today is about family.
Yes.
So I guess I'll get to turn on Spartanburg tomorrow.
That's
but
right.
Again, we traded in with Spartanburg Wednesday, and I left 2 coaches there last night at 1 o'clock. I tried to make them go home, but hey, this is the best coaching staff in the world, and they're going to be prepared. So me telling them to go home at 1 o'clock, that didn't work. They stayed preparing. So I know tomorrow when they get there at 2 o'clock, they'll have a lot of it already, mind. They have some thoughts in their mind on how we want to attack Spartanburg. But as far as this head coach, I think Miss Head Coach has spoken and she said, hey, today's ours.
Yeah, I like that. That's right. Just let me know what time to be there, Coach. I'll take you up on that as long as they have some TVs to watch some college football. Donnie Littlejohn, as always, we appreciate you, Coach. Congratulations on your first region win as a head coach last night.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you everything y'all do for high school football.
Absolutely. Thank you as well. That's Donnie Littlejohn, the head football coach of the Gaffney Indians, after their first region win of the season last night, 34-7 over Boiling Springs. Want to say thanks to Lynn Fleming of Broome, Trey Stewart of Greer Sports, Coach Ethan Ray of Chesney High School, who joined us in person earlier in the show. Blake Cochran, Evan Lauder, Kel Thrift, and also thanks to Donnie Littlejohn, a jam-packed show, Alex. We can breathe a little bit. Bit. And, region play for a lot of these teams, like we talked about just now with Coach Littlejohn's here, but you got to also remember there's still several teams in our coverage area that are still a couple of weeks from region play because of those small regions.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about obviously the 8-team regions, like the 5A regions that we cover and some 4A regions we cover. Yeah. Those guys, they started region play last night, and so they are now really in the thick of it and playing what they would need to play as their best football. But then, you get down to like Chesney. We had the Chesney folks here earlier, and they don't start region play for another 2 weeks because they have the bye next week. So
and Blacksburg,
they won't start region play until October 3rd. Blacksburg starts region play in 2 weeks on the 3rd. So, I mean, you talk about those teams, they still have a few more tune-up games before they get into the thick of it. And even the 3A regions we cover, I mean, you talk about the BHPs and Pendletons, Walhallas, even on down to Mountain View, MVP, they're off next week and they get a region start in 2 weeks. So
it's interesting having the odd numbers, not odd numbers, but some teams, with fewer teams.
Some teams are playing 7 region games, and then some only have 4 region games.
So before we run to a break and start looking ahead to Week 5, final thoughts on last night, Alex. Week 4, again, congratulations to Coach Bryce Smiley, his first win as a head coach at J.O. Man. Greenville starting to get a little rhythm, a little momentum after their 28-18 win over Woodmont. I thought that game would be close. I don't want to say baffled, but I'm really impressed with the job that Jason Tone's done. People don't realize that 22-21 win last night over Greenwood, that is a really good Greenwood team. I just saw him 2 weeks ago. Tristan Lewis, quarterback, Alex, he's an athlete, one of the best athletes I've seen this year. And for Hannah, I mean, they just keep stacking the wins. I'm most impressed right now with what they've done since that week 0 loss to Burns.
Yeah, no doubt, Cole. I mean, you talk about Greenwood and what they've done so far this season. I mean, last night was their first loss. And they had beaten Beaufort, Dorman, and Lexington. That's three really good teams there. But, I mean, you talk about Jason Tone and his Yellow Jackets. You had the week 0 loss to Burns, then you had a bye week, and it's really like at that point, maybe that's when your season kind of started. You had that tune-up game in week 0, but, I mean, 3 big wins over Westside, Wren, Greenwood. You get Malden next week, which that's not a team to scoff at. You know, there was a time where you saw Malden on the schedule, and it's oh, well, that's a win.
Andre's done a great job there, man. He really has. They're turning the page.
Exactly, yeah, so that's not a game to scoff at if you're TL Hanna.
Also, a big win for Hillcrest last night. You mentioned it earlier, 29-7 over Malden. I had a text this morning. While it was a big win, some grievances, I guess, with the officials, Alex. 340 yards of penalties.
Wow.
In last night's Hillcrest Malden game. I don't know that I could have stayed and watched that.
Wow.
340 yards, 34 accepted penalties last night for 340 yards. That's the most I've ever heard of in any football game at any level.
And I thought the 173 in the Gaffney Boiling Springs game last night was ridiculous.
Oh, y'all are
340.
Good. Y'all are good,
oh, my
man.
goodness.
You have nothing to worry about.
Wow.
340 yards.
Wow.
That is unbelievable. A big win for Burns last night, 45-3 in the game you heard on the Fan Upstate. The Rebels also 1-0 in region play, Alex. Kind of, I asked Reggie Shaw in the pregame interview, what's a perfect scenario here? And not being disrespectful toward Wade Hampton, but perfect scenario, you want to get your guys out of the game.
Yeah.
And Wade Hampton, they struggled last night. They struggled, they've struggled for a while now. Wade, like, for example, a lot of fresh jerseys last night for the Rebels. Alex, if I'd have told you going into last night that Trey Segura would have 4 carries last night, it probably surprised you a little bit. Only 4 carries.
I'd say, wait, that's 4 touchdown carries?
4 carries.
Yeah.
So Trey Segura, they were very big on getting a lot of people in last night against Wade Hampton.
And I mean, as you should be if you're Burns, you've got a big game against Dorman this week. So I mean,
Kane Rogers very efficient last night as well. 13 of 18, 2 touchdowns, 181 yards for Burns quarterback. Again, 0 interceptions last night, and that's 0 on the season. Still no interceptions for Kane Rogers at quarterback. Been very efficient for the Burns Rebels. So the Burns Rebels obviously gets their first win of the region, or first region win as well. They're 1-0 in region play. Dorman in the same boat, 31-3 win over Riverside last night. A big win for those guys. We talked Spartanburg Eastside in hour number 1 with Trey Stewart. But a lot of good games last night. However, it is time we turn the page to week 5. What's happening this Friday night? We'll get to it and our thoughts, early leans on those games right here on the Fan Upstate.
The Fan Upstate.
Final segment of the Saturday Morning Scramble. I want to say thanks to Ingalls Markets as well as Founders Federal Credit Union for their continued sponsorship for years now of the Saturday Morning Scramble, and I mean years. So big thanks to Ingalls as well as Founders Federal Credit Union. Alex, guess we turn the page to week 5, which saddens me a little bit because that means like
nope, don't say it.
Half of 10 or like halfway through this
Nope,
thing already.
no.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but man, high school football season flies by, doesn't it?
It does.
There's just too few games, I guess.
It never feels like the college season or the NFL season flies by this quickly.
No, man.
In
Well,
comparison.
I guess there's just so fewer games.
I guess.
So fewer games. So we turned the page now to week 5, though. High school football, week 5 in the upstate. A lot of good games this week. Let's do some early leans. You ready?
Okay. Yep. Early leans.
Early leans.
Go for it.
Early lean, Woodmont Easley. I'm going to lean toward Wildcats. They played pretty good last night.
Yeah, give me Woodmont.
All right, that's your early lean?
Yeah, that's my early lean.
Okay. Here's a good one.
Uh-huh.
Here's a good one, and I mean a good one.
Okay.
Hillcrest at Greenwood.
Greenwood.
That's your early lean?
That's my early lean.
You're really fast, rapid fire with these.
Greenwood.
You have no hesitation in that answer?
Give me Greenwood.
No hesitation.
No hesitation in the answer of Hillcrest at Greenwood.
What about J.O. Man
Greenville? Greenville.
Is your early lean?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
They're playing good.
Scoot Watson's old team going to play Scoot Watson's new team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Little revenge game,
Yeah.
or what do you call that? Yeah. Old versus
a
new.
football game.
There you
That's
go.
what I call it.
Look, Malden T.L. Hanna is going to be tough. As good as T.L. Hanna's playing right now, don't you feel like it's going to be a tough road to hoe there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, TL Hanna's got here's the thing. Malden is going to have to face that triple option offense that they only see one time a year when they play TL Hanna.
That's tough. It really is. Maybe the biggest game of the week. Dorman making the trip over to Duncan, South Carolina. Two programs that don't like each other, obviously. They want to win, and it's a rivalry game in every sport, Alex. This one's going to be big. This one's going to be really big on Friday, and there's been a lot of anticipation around this matchup for weeks now, kind of looking down the schedule, right, for both teams. In this game. Region play's already started, but this is the big one. This is the marquee matchup. Early thoughts, lean. Do you have a lean? Because right now I really can't lean. I mean, Dorman's so good. I saw him a couple of weeks ago against Greenwood, and for all the people out there preseason, these people that think they know everything and said, oh, well, no good football in Spartanburg County this year. The region's down. It's the worst it's ever been. Blah, 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 blah. You hadn't seen Dorman play. They can run the ball and they can play good defense. And in high school football, if you can run the ball and play good defense, you're going to win a lot of games. What's your early thoughts, early lean here?
Yeah, I'm going down the list, and I immediately put Dorman on my list just for that purpose. Just, they're playing really good defense. They can run the ball really well. They've looked really good in the games that they've played so far. Not saying that Burns hasn't looked really good in the games that they've played so far, but Burns has also played the likes of Greer and Wade Hampton in the last couple of weeks. And no disrespect to Greer and Wade Hampton, but I don't necessarily know that those two games are really giving you the power that you're now going to face when you take on Dorman.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. That is going to be a big, big game, and I think both have the attention of each team, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, they're both focused on that one. Boiling Springs, this one's interesting, man. Boiling Springs East Side. Typically, you'd say, okay, Boiling Springs is going to win that game, and they might. However, East Side showed last night against Spartanburg, Alex, that they're no fluke. They've got talent.
Yeah, I think that
this one could be close, right?
This one's probably going to be a coin flip for me. I'm probably going to change my pick multiple times throughout the week, but right now I'm early lean East Side, and that's based off of seeing what East Side was
and
capable
you saw Boiling
of
Springs
doing
last night
against Spartanburg, what Boiling Springs
couldn't do,
lack thereof against Gaffney last night. And so I think if Eastside comes out and jumps on Boiling Springs like they did Spartanburg, I think Eastside wins that game.
Another rivalry game, a big, big region game. Gaffney, Spartanburg, one of the bigger rivalries across the state, Alex. A game in which Gaffney's dominated as of recent years. Spartanburg, look, we know that Spartanburg lost a lot last year from their team. Graduation hurt them. They're still a very young team, right, trying to shore up some things, and they're well coached, so I expect them to do so. But Gaffney has a lot of momentum after last night's big region win over Bowling Springs. This was it's always fun. One of those, Alex, you've seen a lot of them. You can throw the record books out the window for these.
Yeah, absolutely, Cole. I mean, you talk about Gaffney's dominated this one in recent history. I mean, here's the stat on that. Gaffney has won 23 of the last 28 in this
That's
series.
domination.
They've won 8 straight. There's that.
Alex, this is going to be a lot of fun. This one's at Wren.
Yeah.
Woodruff's so good. Aiden Gibson, those guys, Connor Davis, they're tough. And this one might be one of the maybe the biggest. I mean, it's huge. This is a big game on Friday night. Travelers Rest hosting Greer on Friday. Pickens and Berea going at it. I'll tell you this. Here's one that's got my attention. Daniel Seneca.
Yeah.
You talk about two teams that are going to clash in terms of styles in which they play. Seneca has lit up the scoreboard, Alex, and I mean lit it up. I have no idea how to early lean on this one. Do you?
No.
Coin flip kind of game?
I originally wrote down Daniel just now, and then I immediately changed my pick to Seneca. So
this one's going to be
clue.
fun, man.
Yeah.
This one's going to be a lot of fun. That is a big game. Daniel Seneca. Chapman hosting Belton Honeypath. Chapman still looking for their first one of the season, right? Right?
Are they?
Right?
I don't know.
You have the schedule pulled up in front
Chapman,
of you. You have the schedule pulled up.
What are they?
You are the schedule
Chapman's
master.
3A. Yeah, Chapman's still looking for their first win of the season. You're right.
A little, you were
Sorry.
confident, but also a little
I-
skeptical there.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough because Belton Honeypath, I mean, my goodness,
Yeah.
that's going to be a
tough
tough team to beat. Crescent Liberty should be a fantastic game on Friday. Liberty's been lighting up the scoreboard as well. Greenwood Christian, West Oak, Carolina Pendleton, Christchurch, Hampton County, Southside Christian, Carolina Forest, Broome making the trip up 85 to Blacksburg, the short trip for the Centurions. Alex, not a bad road trip for Broome up there. Clinton at Union County. How do you like those two early leans? Broome, Blacksburg, Clinton, Union County.
Broome, Blacksburg. I really like Broome in this one.
Yeah,
you
me
know,
too.
and again, we've heard coaches talk about Blacksburg, and yeah, Blacksburg's winless right now, but they're still a tough, scrappy team, and Josh Batchelor can coach that team to be a winning team. But I like Broome in that one, and then Clinton, Union County.
Clinton get back on track.
Clinton,
Probably.
I think, gets back on track, especially after the tough loss last night.
I think so as well. I think it's going to be a good week. Appreciate all of you for being with us this morning.
Where are we next
Right
week?
here on the Saturday. We're at Ingles next week.
We're we're in Landrum.
No way.
That is our first trip to Landrum. I can
The first
guarantee
you can
that
verify.
I can verify.
And
That's the
Landrum, who's
first trip.
Landrum have?
Landrum is
Are they off?
No, they're at Blue Ridge.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Man, what a big one.
Could be a big game there.
Blue Ridge had a good night last night. Landrum Blue Ridge. That is a
Landrum, Blue
big
Ridge.
game on Friday. The big city. We're coming to Landrum on Saturday. I love it.
We'll
see
be
you
there.
We'll see you in Landrum. Want to say thanks again to Ingles Markets, Founders Federal Credit Union, the Saturday Scramble. We'll see you next Saturday in Landrum. He's Alex Guest. I'm Cole Bryson, and we will do it again next Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on the Fan Upstate.
Clear.